Green interwebs, it's a Jacket K, and welcome for another edition of Gaming Chill. It's going to be a busy afternoon, so I decided to record a quick little intermission now before I head out to take care of some errands. That way, even in the worst case scenario, that I don't have time this week to record a game show proper, I'll be able to make at least a little update video for you all. Especially since for this month, it feels like it's going to just be more of the usual. I'm still continuing through Pokemon XG Next Gen, and the game plan is still to do weekly updates, but we'll see how that pans out. I got videos all set for the first half of the month. I'm just still working on editing videos for the second half of the month, so we should be all set. I'm just not totally confident enough to make promises. Speaking of tentative things, the game plan is still to do streaming every other week, but as you might already know, live streaming's never been my strong suit. When I first started up the year, I was feeling pretty confident about the whole every other week streaming thing, but I noticed I've been a bit more shaky last month, and it feels like that's going to continue on to this month. Just as an example, today's supposed to be a stream day, but I'm not even sure if I'm going to go live or not, because a lot of the errands I have to do specifically have to happen in the afternoon, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be too worn out from them to actually set up and just talk into a mic by the time the evening comes around. We'll see. I'm not going to dwell on it because by the time you're hearing this, that won't be relevant. I just brought it up as an example of how I'd like to be more consistent with streaming, but it's kind of hard for me to do so. The only reason I can be as consistent as I am with the non-live streaming stuff is because I can make a whole bulk of them in advance and just schedule the posts to spread out the work I do in a way that gives the illusion of being consistent. Oh, but speaking of doing things consistently, a couple weeks ago I started up a new series. Don't worry, it's not that much because it's just YouTube Shorts, but my goal is to have a YouTube Short every Tuesday, specifically talking about how my adventures in game design have been going. So far I've been pretty good with that, and I feel like I'll be able to keep it up between the fact that they are only 3 minutes at most, and the fact that I already have a few backup shorts for a rainy day and all that. You know, like either a day where I don't have the time to record a short, or a week that I flat out don't feel like commentating. That being said, I am going to pull up one of the backup shorts for next week, if only because I don't want to hold on to it in the backlog for too long, because I get the feeling that the stuff that I do in that particular short will be relevant to game dev vlogs that I make in the future. Hopefully it'll make more sense when that short comes out. On the tangent of game development progress, that's been going okay. Maybe a bit more casually than I like, a bit inconsistent of when I work, but that just comes with the break of juggling it between a full-time job and the YouTube I'm already doing. Not helped by the fact that I kind of divided that already divided up game development time between two projects. Reworking the fan game that I made for April Fools into a more fleshed out project, and experimenting around with RPG mechanics. Doesn't help that in the back of my head I also want to go back to Firebrand Dash still. But I'm gonna try not to think about that for a bit and try to focus mostly on fleshing out the fan game. The only reason I've been making the side tangents into this other project is because there's a part of my brain that just keeps yelling at me going, "Don't you want to make your dream game before you die?" Slightly morbid, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I do think about how valuable and limited our time on this planet is, a bit more than the average person. The point is, when that voice in my head gets too loud, sometimes I just gotta stop what I'm doing in the game development front and do something to satisfy it, if only temporarily. And that's why I got side projects on top of working on my fan game. Mostly just little things like experimenting around with how I can use the code that I know to make a class system, or walking around in Overworld. Probably will eventually get to the point of making actual RPG mechanics when I find enough time to sit down and actually read or watch a tutorial on the matter. Though the impatience in me kind of wonders if I even need to watch a tutorial on how to make an RPG, or if I could put something together with the knowledge I already have without it. It doesn't help that there isn't really any good RPG tutorials on YouTube, at least turn-based. The one guide I go to for Scarlet tutorials in general does have an RPG tutorial, but it's more of an action RPG, which is not what I'm really looking for. I'm looking for something turn-based. That same person does kind of have an elementary turn-based tutorial, but it's specifically for mobile, so I'm wondering if it's a little too basic. You should all take what I'm saying right now with a grain of salt. I'm just sharing a little sample of how all over the place my thoughts have been as of late. We'll see. Again, I'm trying to keep the focus on one project at a time, so I don't think too much about it. Or at least I'm trying not to focus too hard on it. It's also May, so I'd love to actually get back into art and do some drawings again. But that's not really relevant to the channel, that's just relevant to my own interests. And with that, I guess I've talked about all the major channel stuff, so... Oh right, almost forgot. I forget the last time I mentioned the whole streaming from my old fan games thing. I'm still on the fence of if I want to go through with it or not, so at this point I'll probably just do it on my own time, but if you can tell, my own time is kind of crunching all over the place. So I'm not going to promise anything of when that'll happen, just I wanted to apologize because it probably won't happen as a live stream as I said I would. I'll probably throw it on the laundry list of video ideas I gotta go through once I'm actually caught up enough with the Pokemon XD backlog to actually do other videos. Okay, now I think I've talked about everything related to the channel that I want to cover. So, I'll see y'all for Game & Chill proper if that still ends up being a thing. I don't think there's anything I really even want from a space-time distortion in this area anymore. However, since I'm in the area because someone had forgot to hit the record button while they were recording B-roll footage for the Game & Chill anyways, I might as well just go through it now. It'll give us a little bit of a change of pace from what I've been doing this game already, because I've been spending a lot of time in Mass Outbreaks, and specifically because there hasn't been that much for me to do in space-time distortions. It's probably been a hot minute since the last time I've actually streamed / recorded in a space-time distortion. Kind of wondering if I should box the burn me for something a bit more competent for tough Pokemon like this, but I'm mostly just here for the items, so I don't think it's that much of a big deal. It's not the end of the world, is what I'm trying to get at. If nothing else though, this probably gives me a good excuse to do story time again. Oh yeah, earlier on today, I did go for a walk. Hold on, is there anything to do with Zubat? Nope, Zubat is all taken care of. As I was saying, I went for a walk earlier today, and in the process I got my first shiny XXL? I believe I got the right number of X's in Pokemon Go. The bad news is that it was a Swablu, which isn't exactly a Pokemon I'm excited for. Not because it's a bad shiny, it is a nice looking shiny Pokemon. The issue is that it's one of those shinies that I found plenty of in Pokemon Go, even before it had its own community day. Looking back, it's kind of wild. Like, it's one of the few Pokemon that have had a community day in Pokemon Go that haven't been like a flat-out free stage evolution. And it's not exactly like the craziest Pokemon, or the most exciting Pokemon normally to have a community day for. So looking back, it's kind of weird that we did get community day for Swablu. I think what they did at the time to make it exciting was either during the community day or around that time frame. That was when they introduced Mega Altaria into Pokemon Go. Because I remember that being a big deal for that particular community day. Now, if the Space-Time Rift could, like, do a thing and, like, activate, for lack of a better way to describe it, sooner, that would be fantastic. Anything to, like, help me just not walk around in a circle and ramble. I think it's been a while since I've had a fumble that bad. Who even sees me? I didn't even see a Zubat anywhere around here. But apparently it sees me. Oh, there you are. You know, let's see if a Burmy can handle a level 10 Zubat. I'm curious. I'm hitting him a quad resistant move, but it is like 60 levels higher than it. Well, you know, being overpowered does mean something in this game after all. Well, I got a little sidetracked, but like, it's cool that I finally got an XXL shiny Pokemon. It's not as crazy as it sounds because the current event going on in Pokemon Go specifically increases the odds of Pokemon turning XXL or XXS. Super big or super tiny, I'm going to refer to it as from now on, because that's essentially what it is. And I kind of, I don't recall any news specifically saying this, but just from my time playing the game during this event, I got a feeling that it's a specific Pokemon that have that boost in odds to be really big or really small. Because I noticed it a lot more frequently with Pokemon like Swablu and the Nimble line and a few others. Which reminds me that it's a bit of a shame. the biggest reason that it's a bit of a shame that this happened with Swablu was I was going on that walk in particular because Nimble and Rookidee seem to be appearing a lot more often during this event. Rookidee's good because, like, it's good for PvP. Not that I actually do PvP too often, but that's a whole other story. The point I was trying to get at, though, is that with Rookidee, or with Nimble, it's not needed for anything, but I've been trying to get a shiny Nimble for what feels like forever. You know, I was really hoping that this event would be the day that I finally got the shiny Nimble. But of course, there's a Swablu and a Nimble right next to each other. And of course the one I clicked on first was the Swablu. Granted, it turned into a shiny XXL, which is something worth celebrating, I believe. But I can't get over the irony. It just strikes me as a so close, yet so far sort of ordeal. It feels like I've been trying to get that golden shiny of it ever since the game has come out. And I know it could probably... I would say I could probably just boot up Scarlet and Violet and hunt for a mass outbreak of it in there. But the few times that I have been playing Scarlet and Violet, I've never actually seen a mass outbreak for the Pokemon. And at this point, I have zero interest in ever opening up Scarlet and Violet again. Funny story though, I did thought I was completely done with Scarlet and Violet a while back, but when that Rayquaza event came out, where there was the outbreaks, or I mean, the max battles, there's so many similar yet different names for these multiplayer groups against giant Pokemon at this point, or super Pokemon at this in general, that I kind of have lost track of them all. Between Pokemon Go, Sword and Shield, and Scarlet and Violet, and we all know the next mainline game, if not Legends, as well, are gonna have their own special types of special battles that I have to remember the names of as well. The point being, like, they did the thing for the shiny Rayquaza, and like, I don't know, it's not the most... I already have shiny Rayquaza from like Pokemon Go and that, but I thought it'd be cool to try to take part in those particular raids. Because it is a cool shiny, and it would give me an excuse to actually play video games with other people. So I just connected up with a Discord of a YouTube channel I follow, and was able to get something done. Eventually. It took more time than I like to admit. And it kind of just reminds me of the issues that I have with the group battles in that particular game. I still stand by Dynamax Adventure was the best outlet for co-op online multiplayer in Pokemon that we've seen in the series, and just is a shame that we'll probably never see it again, because at this point, if they didn't bring it back for any of the Scarlet and Violet DLC, it's probably going to be a gimmick exclusive to Sword and Shield, which is a shame because I would say no one's gonna play... At least now, no one's gonna play Sword and Shield. They've all moved on to Scarlet and Violet and whatever Pokemon games come out in the future beyond that. Shoutouts. I think I've said this on streams, but I don't think I've said it on a gaming show yet. Over this year, I've realized that Thunder is a great accent. If you have research to do relating to using Thunder, Massive Mass Outbreaks is a good way to grind out that particular research task. Because it's always raining in Massive Mass Outbreaks, so you always have Massive Mass Outbreaks to take care of. Or I mean, you will never miss your Thunders, because it's always raining. Oh, I guess it's like a thing we didn't get a shiny Pikachu when I was grinding this area for Mass Outbreaks earlier. I completely forgot that I already had a shiny Pikachu. Let's see. Oh, I already did... Oh. Oh. No, I guess not the previous battle, but the battle before actually got me everything I need to do for Thunder. And I thought I had to do a lot more agile moves, but apparently not. More importantly, I think it's finally time for me to box Raichu. A little awkward timing considering that right in front of this Massive Mass Outbreak, but I'm glad that I caught that instead of like having this Raichu out for several more play sessions and go, huh, I wonder why I'm not making any progress on my field research. Watch. The moment I work back to replace Raichu with something else, that's when the Massive Mass Outbreak is gonna pop up and do its thing. Of course, right when I was about to show off the shinies that I got in some previous streams. I guess we'll do that later. I shouldn't complain too much, that'll be a good way to close off the stream and all. Guess I pushed my luck just a little bit too hard there. Yeah, look at tons of EVs. I'm pretty sure I've not only caught all the rare Pokemon here, but I guess I technically haven't maxed out the research, but might as well have. I guess technically I still have to fight the Pokemon to max out the research. Let's see. Oh, so now you don't do the weird thing. I was about to point out how, like, battling on cliffs can be a bit weird sometimes, because sometimes the game is like, nope, you are too high, you're too low, we're just gonna cancel the battle before you even start. In fact, just yesterday when I was streaming, something exactly like that happened. So, depending on how ambitious I am with the editing, this would be a good opportunity to splice that in. Oh, I had a feeling someone saw me, and not just totally because, what? No. Man, this game kinda has a weird thing with cliffs and all that. But I think that's the most ridiculous example I've seen yet. Yeah. I mean, sure, it's 85%, but it's still kind of ridiculous I missed twice in a row. And of course, it's only when I put it in fast style that it decides to keep missing. When I'm consuming more power points. Of course, it's the time when it wants to just keep missing. And I wouldn't complain as much if, like, it counted towards your field research, even if you miss, but no, you have to actually see the animation in order for it to count, which, to be fair, makes sense from a lore standpoint, but it's kind of annoying when you're trying to grind out field research for inaccurate moves. Speaking of inaccurate moves, what do I gotta do with Rotom? Is it Thunder or is it Thunder Shock? Oh shoot! No, wait. I still have, like, I'm surprised my reminder didn't go off. Sorry, I gotta stop what I'm doing, because I just realized that I've been putting off feeding my Snorlax lunch in Pokemon Sleep. And lunch swaps to dinner in, like, literally 5 minutes. So I guess I'm gonna have to use B-roll from somewhere else anyways. It's the first thing, do I have enough apples? If nothing else, I was gonna say if nothing else, then Apple at least has more than enough for apples at this point, but no, not even a single apple. I don't got time to complain, I don't got time to come up with some sort of alternative. All I can make is cookies. Ugh. What can I use up to, like, make this not feel completely wasted? I don't know if I need chocolate for anything. That's a problem I will sort out later, though. Surely I can put some things into milk. Sure. Even though I've been trying to specifically grind up apples, I need something to fill this out. Yeah, sure. I'll throw some slowpoke tails into the mix. And I forget how much I need of the thing. Screw it. Who knows, if I spend too much time pondering this, I might actually miss lunch altogether. I haven't seen it happen myself, but I've heard stories of it happening. I really would not be in the experimental... I'd rather not be a guinea pig for people, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, this is gonna be an interesting one to edit. At least, you know, depending on how ambitious I am, you're at least gonna have an opportunity to see how I'm doing in Pokemon Sleep. Ironically, I pretty much have every area in this game maxed out in terms of what you call it. Forget the term, but it's the percentile that makes it easier to do stuff with raising your Snorlax. That is maxed out in every area but here. So in theory, I'd be better off just playing in other areas so that power actually goes into the power plant anyways, while I live. I'm just realizing I'm kind of getting a little too technical with Pokemon Sleep, and that's not even what this game show is supposed to be about. Trying to get enough for the Zip Stack sodas. Of course I got one too many warming gingers taken care of. But hypothetically, at least now, I have until I go to bed to get enough apples, which should be plenty of time, especially because I got my best apple producer out. And I'd be a little more worried. Also forgot about the fact that two of my other Pokemon out here give apples already, even though they're not ingredient specialists. One being, I am one ginger short, but Raichu's been pretty good at getting ginger, so I'm pretty sure I can get one more ginger before the end of the day. Now to actually close Pokemon Sleep up and get back to the game proper. Maybe I'll leave the footage running so I didn't start, because I, after all, didn't start things up immediately when I started playing Pokemon Sleep. So maybe I have a little extra footage to, like, fill out all the blanks. I just realized how cool, if not funny, it would be if one of these Sneasels ended up being shiny, because I'm pretty sure in these sorts of outbreaks, they only can be, it's the only place to get this form of Sneasel. Normally it's the Hisui ones, because, well, we're in the Hisui region. Yay! Kinda got caught off guard by that, not gonna lie. Yeah, shoot, what was I even thinking about, talking about, before I went on that whole tangent with frickin' Pokemon Sleep? So weird. I have no interest in getting a Switch 2 at launch, and yet Nintendo still got me by the foothold with pretty much having Pokemon integrated into all other aspects of my life. Oh well. It's a thing that I don't mind as long as I'm getting enjoyment out of it, and hypothetically, if I'm not getting enjoyment out of something, I can just, well, stop. You know, as much as I would like to go somewhere else for the B-roll for the intro, I can't really think of anything else to talk about. Oh yeah, I almost forgot though. I got so sidetracked by everything else. I wanted to show you all the shinies that I got in previous streams. So, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go collect this stuff, jump back to base, show off the shinies, and then I'll give you all a proper review. There we go. Yeah, I try to prioritize moves I need to do for the Pokedex on the top of my Pokemon's moves, so that even if I forget, I just mash the top, and 9 times out of 10 I'm making research progress. Yeah, I've played this game enough that I've gotten pretty familiar with how to track down the satchels, but as you saw there, even I sometimes blank out every now and then. Right, did I save? I just know that these things can be pretty finicky. Okay, I guess triple check that I save? I'll get back to you in a sec. Oh man, I keep jumping between the pause menu to try to set up items. But yeah, there was a sparkle there. Oh my god. Ugh. I have to be in the water. But it's a basculin, of course it would be in the water. I can't... Basculin is just a sucky shiny. I can't tell which one's the shiny. I think it was that one. I think it was, because it's... I think the stripe was... Okay, yeah, it's generally more brightly colored than the other ones, so... Awesome! That's one more off the decks. Nope. But you know... With all the time I spend complaining about the Apoms, I guess I'll just quickly check the Apom trees before I do another soft reset. And it's also... Maybe I'll hunt around for static encounter shinies. It's been a while since I... Oh! Oh dear. Oh dear. We actually got a second shiny today. Wow. Glad I didn't reset. It's a Combi and it's an alpha. The problem is I didn't catch if it was a male or female. I think it's a male. Oh well, I mean, alpha, it's still... Just randomly stumbling upon an alpha shiny is still kind of cool. I think I wanted in the... Well, hi there, Bleezel. Yeah, that's definitely male. Still cool. Pretty sure that might be my first shiny Combi, and it ended up being an alpha. And it was just a normal encounter randomly in the wild. Like, it wasn't even a static alpha, it was just a random wild Pokemon that not only had the odds to be shiny, but was randomly chosen to be a random alpha. That's pretty cool. Alright. Where's the good hill? I could have sworn there was the perfect place to set up my Pokemon, and I completely forgot where it was between the failed recording attempt and this. But ta-da! Here's the two shinies that I was alluding to. Didn't get them last stream, but the stream before. But considering like how crazy it was to get these two so close together, I'm not complaining about like going the whole previous stream entirely shinyless. First we got the Basculin, which is a new entry in my collection of Hisui Pokemon. And with how annoying it can be to try to catch Pokemon like Basculin, that's a proud accomplishment in of itself. But that's not even the crazy part. Obviously, this Combi here is kind of special because not only is it shiny, but it's of the alpha form. fun little thing that I've only noticed till now, like when it talks, the border around this little honeycomb heads, actually glow. I don't know what the lore implication is of something like that, but I find it neat. So not only is it shiny, not only is it alpha, but I just happened to find it while flying around the overworld, checking on the trees that Apom allegedly pops out of for other field research. So this is probably about, I don't know how much Pokédex progress I have on this Pokemon, but besides that, this is pretty close to the fullest odds that I could get, excluding Shiny Charm, on top of the odd increase that the field research gives you. The only thing that can make this even more crazy of a find was if it was female. I don't know, I find Combi cute, and like the fact that it's male gives me an excuse to never evolve it. There's no better excuse not to do something is beyond literally not being able to do it. Let me see if I can get a little bit closer to our new shiny friends, because that'd probably be a fun way to end off the video. Oh, maybe not that close. Oh, Nintendo, I know you don't care about this game anymore because it's not a main series entry, and you're releasing Legends ZA, but please, you have my uttermost respect if you release a free update for Switch 2. I guess I shouldn't beg too much because I'm not currently interested in a Switch 2 at the moment, but I understand Scarlet and Violet because it kinda needed it. But as I play this game more and more and upgrade my monitors to better qualities, the blemishes on this show, blemishes that probably could be improved with a higher performing console. I'd love to play this game with Pokemon flying around and have a better frame rate than a PowerPoint presentation. That would be awesome. Alright, I think that's all I really got to talk about for now, though. Thank you all for tuning in for this edition. Thanks, Pop. You could have waited like one more minute to pop while I did the outro. Anyways, thank you all for tuning in for another edition of Game & Chill, and I hope to see you all next month. Until the next time we meet, though, take care. Hey, I know I just closed out the video, but as I was editing, I decided to play a bit more Legends Arceus, get a little extra B-roll, and give myself something to do while editing, while I was in the Pokemon Legends mood, and guess what happened in the process? Yup, I just got done checking a mass outbreak of Quillfish, so I decided to fly around the long way to the Apom trees. And yeah, that happened instead. So now I'm the not proud owner of 2 shiny Magpies, a shiny Magmar, and a shiny Magmortar. All from this game. Man, why couldn't it have been the Quillfish? It was right there. That reminds me, I just recently hatched a Magpie from an egg during Heracross Raid Day of all things. Why am I such a magnet towards the Magpie line? It's not even one of my favorite Pokemon. It's not one of my least favorites, but I've definitely had my fill of them. It was kind of the spur of the moment, so I was able to use my Switch to record fighting the shiny Pokemon, but I forgot to record actually capturing it. Hopefully showing it off here is a good substitution, a good compensation for not having the initial footage of getting it in the Pokeball. Okay, for real this time, unless I somehow find a second shiny Pokemon while editing. Thank you all for tuning in for this edition of Game & Chill. I've been Jackie K, and I hope to see you all next month for some more adventures. Until then though, take care.